back to another episode of J&B Body Works podcast. Oftentimes in this podcast, we kind of branch out and do things that are outside of the car realm. We try to keep things as tight as possible, but there's a lot of people that we know that are super interesting, so we have them sit down. But today we are sitting down with somebody who meshes right into our whole ethos, which is cars. And we are with a gentleman who runs a successful social media platform, Gearheadsnyc. This is Tom Lombardino. Thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
My name's Tom Lombardino. I started a group called Gearheadsnyc. It started out like back when I started college, really. I made an Instagram page, and it basically just spiraled from there. A couple friends hanging out. We'd go to car meets and stuff like that. And I kind of just inadvertently started this little community. I would go to car meets, we'd repost, and before you know it, I was having some people that were trying to get involved, and we were organizing our own meets and stuff like that. So I built this little social media brand while I was in college, just for fun, just give myself.
Where did you go to college?
What's that?
Where did you go to college?
Brooklyn College.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a bachelor's in business administration. Was going to go into the finance industry, which I did for a little while, but car life kind of steered me more towards that way instead of, the finance industry.
So you had no idea this was going to turn into what it has become today. You just were like, I'm here with my boys shooting the shit, having some fun around cars, and I'm just going to start posting.
Yeah, basically. It was just, just doing it for fun, not even with any long-term intentions, from the beginning. I was just doing it for fun, just trying to. The most exciting part was getting as many people as you could to show up to a car meet.
Yeah.
You post you make a post, you show up at a parking lot, some people show up, and before you know it, you're having a little banger or whatever, and you have a good time. And it was fun in college. Spend your late nights and just chilling in a parking lot, meet people, talk like this, and just meet new friends, get to know each other.
Those a lot. Where were those meets from primarily?
Mostly around Brooklyn and Queens. Like I said, I'm from Howard Beach, Queens native, so I tried to keep stuff within reasonable location, but just mostly Brooklyn and Queens. Try to do things as central as possible so I can get as many people to kind of, come around from Nassau County, maybe the Bronx, and, try to keep centralized locations. And did that for a little while. It was fun partnering up with some other groups at the time, and we just set up events and car shows and little things, and it was a fun thing. And then I kind of started my hobby of photography with this page. I was always into taking pictures, but never really took it seriously with anything.
Yeah.
Then I started doing this stuff, and then I was like, well, I gotta have content. I need to make content to post. You can't, if you got nothing to post, you got nothing. So I started dabbling more with photography and getting into that more, and getting cameras and lenses and all that stuff, and I developed a whole side hobby with that, just to be able to have content to make. And I kind of enjoyed that too. I started to develop a new hobby with that, taking pictures of cars and videos and whatever. So that got me along with posting some more of my content, and it kind of just progressed from there. And I even to this day, I with the Gearheads brand, I have a lot of plans and a lot of visions for what I want to do with it. Kind of struggled to pick a course, pick a direction,
right,
with what to do exactly with it.
At the time, what were you driving when you were doing that?
When I started it, G37 Infinity.
Coupe or sedan?
Sedan. It was a all-wheel drive sedan. That was my second car. I got that, and I was
How old are you?
I was 19.
How old are you now?
Oh, 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
Nice.
when I was in high school, so I'm 32. So when I was in high school, I could tell you that if you were real big deal shit, you had the G37 just came out. So if you had a G37, very cool. It was really the G35 S. That was next level shit. And the E46 was also some next level untouchable shit. Someone would show up with a Mustang or something that was cool. But those were the two real hot cars. And I think the E46 kind of kept its
Buster.
Yeah, people are still the price in those are nuts. I have people all the time looking for them.
Were you a base E46 or an M3?
M3, yeah, the M3. I mean, obviously, if you in high school had a brand new E46, even if it was a 28 or a 30, that's sick, great. But the M3 was holy fucking shit, this guy's Superman. But those cars I feel like really like popped off, and like they're building a pretty strong like enthusiast following. The 37, I mean, it could just not be like kind of where my head's at, but I don't see that as most of them I see are just like wrecked.
Oh,
Yeah, ratted out.
It was a cool car when it came out. Like you said, when they first popped out, the G37S, everyone had them, whether they were leasing them or buying them. The aftermarket parts for them were crazy, and everybody had one with an exhaust, coilovers, whatever, blacked out everything. Nice car. They look great. They sound good. They drive nice. But they didn't hold that. You can't compare it to an E46. Like it's in a different league. Even though it's a similar kind of chassis and power-wise, it's very different.
Was the price range like about the same? Neil at the time?
I don't know. I don't remember what they were going for, but I should have bought an E46. I know that
Yeah,
much.
we all should have.
I think
10 of them.
It was like 5 years old, 80,000 miles. I paid like 15 grand for it. Like,
okay.
That was like, I saved up working over the summer, and I was like, I want a nice car. And I bought that. But yeah, I probably could have got an E46. That probably would have been the move. But either way, they're all hot boy cars now.
Yeah.
Like very bad. And like even when I got rid of it, I had it for like 3.5 years. And by the time I sold it, I was like, I had to get out of it because you're starting to see them all over the road, clapped out, and they have a reputation now. I'm sure you've seen like a lot of the No Hezi videos and stuff like that. They're very, very predominantly in those videos as the ones.
What videos?
Like the No Hezi types of videos.
What is
like
that?
Those people that post videos where they're driving through traffic, cutting it up like crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pages that do that now, and that's something we could talk about too, because that's like hurting the car scene, I feel like.
Yeah, what was that guy, Elvis, you were telling me about this. The guy with the black Corvette, the C7 Corvette that was like insane, and his car was completely blacked out, and he was, every time he would go out, he would run from the cops. But either way, that and like those street meets where people are doing donuts, the takeovers, where they're doing donuts.
Those are nuts. First of all, you're going to get hit and like thrown. And like, I don't know where they do that. I've never seen that.
It's a badge of honor to get hit one of those. Yeah. Like those dudes fly and their pants fall down.
I feel like they're kind of okay.
Yeah. Sometimes.
There's been some horror stories, but I mean, most of the time, somehow, miraculously, nothing major happens. I think they're more popular like out west, I think, like in Cali and stuff like that.
Anywhere where Dodge Chargers and Mustangs
I was thinking
are
down
really
south.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's terrible for the car scene.
What is your like thing with cars? Are you a speed guy? Are you a look guy? Are you a lifestyle guy? Like what draws you to stuff? And like what are you liking right now?
It's kind of like the lifestyle thing. Like I like driving. I like driving fast. I consider myself a pretty decent driver. But it's just like everything, every aspect of it. I like, because I'm not like some people that are very, niche specific on what they like. Like I like all cars, old cars, new cars,
quirky cars,
classic cars, quirky cars, weird things, like, random, regular run of the mill cars. If there's something quirky or special or unique about it, like
you're in.
I nerd over the details and,
What's
all
your
that
niche
nuance
right
type of
now?
stuff.
Like what are you driving now?
I have a GX 470, a Lexus,
okay,
the SUV. Picked up one of those. I'm gonna try to do like a little, overlandy type of build with it.
Hell yeah!
Really nice truck. I love those things. And I have a BMW E21 3 Series 320i 78.
Wow.
So it's a little. That's like just a toy for fun that I just.
Everyone needs one of those.
Yeah, it's not. It's rusty. It's got a little rot. It's nice patina though. It's yellow and it's got like a bunch of little rust spots all over it. But it's like
it works.
Yeah, but it's like it fits. I think I'm gonna like satin clear it or something like that. That's and cool. Just kind of lock it in.
Are you still in Howard Beach?
Yeah.
What is the car culture like there? Like what are, like I would tell you that in our area, like in northern Westchester is where we're from. I feel like the interest is like 80s, 90s, and early 2000s European cars. I would say that's like the real hot, like a little bit older Ferraris, stuff like that. And then obviously like
Porsches,
the brand new top of the line Euro stuff is very big here. But like I have a bunch of friends, out in Diker Heights, and I feel like what they're really into is, newer European stuff that's very heavily built.
Right.
You know, I have a lot of friends in Long Island, and I feel like their interests there are kind of more towards like high-end American,
Yep.
you know, sports cars and, you know, a little bit trucks, but it's really like the very high-end Corvettes, like the very high-end, you know, Mopar stuff. So I feel like throughout each area, there's kind of like a different culture, and like, is there, what would you say like the interests are like by where you are?
Well, because I live in Howard Beach, that's a very Italian community. So, and it's very like, once you get out of that community, because, you know, it's Queens. Queens is the most diverse place in the world, basically. So once you're out of the neighborhood, which is relatively small, there's everything is so different. Every neighborhood, every ethnicity, you know, every type of people.
That area.
Everybody's got their own little thing. So, you know, you can go two neighborhoods over in Queens, and like, you know, the whole vibe is different, the culture is different. In my area specifically, like, there's not a big like car culture, I would say. In my neighborhood, it's mostly like, you know, just newer European cars, mostly
SUV, or is kind
of I've been noticing like the, you know, obviously nowadays the trend is everyone seems to be leaning more towards SUVs.
Oh yeah.
You know, even if they want a sports car,
GLE 63,
or they're getting a Yukon S, or you know, something X3M comps now, or I see a lot of those.
Sick car,
crazy car.
Is that an S58?
Yeah.
P58. Yeah.
No, S58.
S58.
Yeah, that's an insane engine.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I went to some BMW event and drove one of those once, and it like Long Beach topped it out at like 150. And
really?
It's crazy. They just let you. It was like an event. They let you drive it, and they just let you take it out with nobody in the car, and I had to see what it could do.
That car is weirdly becoming a chick car though. The X3M.
Well, I mean, this X3 has always been kind of a chick car.
Yeah, but I feel like the M is, I mean, look, probably the most masculine, toughest dude that we both know is JT Torres. He's a friend of ours. He's like one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world right now. And he drives once. I don't really think, you know.
Shit,
Let's tell JT that it's a chick car.
Don't beat
See what
my
he thinks.
ass.
But I mean, with that engine, it's a real car. Like, it's a serious fucking car.
I agree. I would like one if they weren't still going for like 80 grand.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you agree?
I really agree. I think it's a sick car. I'd like an if I had my choice between the lineup, I think an X5M is, you know, a little bit more my speed if you're gonna, you know, put me on the spot like that. But
I feel like the only thing that car really gives you more of a status, I feel like, in terms of driving and
Yeah, I mean,
probably better in an X3M driving wise.
I don't know. They drive pretty nice. It drives like a car.
The M
That's
stuff
the
is
thing. They
getting
don't drive
crazy.
like SUVs anymore. They drive like cars.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like even an X5M, like that's a big heavy truck, but it doesn't feel too much different from like an M5.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, yeah, you're higher. There's a little more sway in the body roll and stuff, but it's generally very close. I mean, BMWs are differently because they really make these cars
It's crazy.
phenomenal.
We have an M4 that at the shop my dad drives from time to time, and you know, when you got into an E36, when you got into an E46, even like the what's the blue one you have, an E90,
yeah, I have an E93.
that you go from that to the new M4 and the new M3, the new M5. It's like, who should have this car? It's fucking crazy. They're so fast.
Yeah. I mean, the F80s were crazy. Like, when those came out, unstoppable. And I've heard from a couple people already that they say the G series, you know, M3s and M4s are just, it's almost too much. Like, I mean, you know, that's all relative, but
Right.
But it's like, it's a lot of car. It's like almost too crazy for, you know, for what it is. Like, you almost can't even use what it's capable of.
How do you feel about the grill?
It is growing on me, like most people say.
I like it a lot.
But I'm still, I don't know. I'm iffy about it, but it's definitely a lot better than how I originally saw it. I still don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I wish they would have gone in a different direction, to be honest. You know, I mean, everyone says that they're kind of catering towards the Asian market with their styling and everything like that.
I think that's everyone.
I get, well, yeah. Well, I mean, you hear everyone says all cars look the same nowadays, which is
Kind of not.
Kind
false.
What do you think?
no, it's not.
What do you think makes it? What about the look makes it cater towards the Asian market? I mean, I hate to say it. I have an idea.
Oh, man.
I just want to hear what you would say.
I mean,
clip it, and cancel.
no.
Like what?
No, but I mean, realistically, like, I don't know a lot of the names of like the Chinese market brands and stuff like that. They have their whole own industry over there, basically. But when you look at a lot of the stuff that comes out of the Asian and mostly Chinese market, that's catered for their market only. It has a look. I can't even describe how it looks. It's very
Do you think
techy,
it looks like the car looks like an Asian person?
No. I mean,
You wouldn't say that, right?
no. I mean, they're doing a lot with this like sharp lines, and I don't know. It's hard to really describe. But like when you see stuff that's designed or made for the Asian market, and then it just correlates when you look at it. You can kind of see how how they took inspiration from some stuff that is catered towards their design language and their style.
Yeah.
So I have a question, like almost a trivia question. If you had to guess on almost every car when we pull up let's say the trunk partition to see what's going on under there for the spare tire, there's 3 languages on every car. If you had to guess what 3 languages are on every car, what would you say?
English,
Spanish.
Okay. No, it's not it.
Japanese,
Nope.
Chinese,
Yep. And the third?
German.
Nope.
Oh, let me do one more. Russian.
Arabic.
Really? I see that. Yeah, now that you say that, I've seen all those.
So those are 3 languages.
I never really thought of that.
So if you have to, in your head, if you think about if you're from another country or even from here, and you say, why did a manufacturer make this specific decision? You can think to the trends of those countries and probably find the root cause of why they did something. I think realistically, there was a big trend, especially in our world, where these younger Chinese immigrants who were studying here abroad were coming in, and they would have insane cars. And I think that was really telling. It's still there, but I mean, these young
I've
guys,
heard some of these stories. 19
to 24-year-olds were coming in with, brand new Rolls Royces, and we're like, "What do you do?" And he was like, "I'm a student at NYU." And
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. You're like, wow, this Lamborghini's insane.
yeah.
And then when they're ready to go back, they just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And sometimes there's like some crazy deals and stuff like that, which is like wild.
It's like it's like us when we go to college, go away. It's like that's their dorming experience or whatever. Let me buy a Ferrari or something like that.
Yeah.
Hang out in New York City a little bit.
Yeah, right. I mean, why not?
So how do you feel about? Are you a big combustion engine guy, or do you like the electric stuff? Do you hate the electric stuff?
I don't hate it, but I'm really not liking the direction that things are going.
Yeah.
I like the hybrid. Hybridization of everything is pretty cool in certain cars. It really it shows its purpose.
You're like in a 918 or a P1 like that.
Yeah,
makes sense.
exactly. I mean, you're pushing the limitations of the combustion engine, and you're giving it a little bit more than what you could do with just the combustion alone. So I like that between acceleration and all that. But
I feel like it almost made like the E-Ray. I found like I don't know why I really don't like electric cars, and I think a lot of the reason why I don't like it is because of the way they're kind of selling them and advertising them. I mean, like the cars are so fast, right? Like they're so much safer because of the low center of gravity. Like there's so much that's great about them. And I think it's kind of like they kind of make them all like toasters. It's just like this is car. Here is car, right? You have car size small, medium, large. Pick your size. We have 3 colors. Just get out.
Yeah.
Like there's no soul. There's no
soul.
Your car is kind of like your like. It's you. It's like this is me. Like this is my whole like identity and my the concept of who I think I am. And I think they kind of like get rid of that.
yeah,
They're like just like here's your toaster. Goodbye. And I feel like if they could change that a little bit, they can make it better. But like there's just a mechanical, like when I saw like the E-Ray, I was like, this is sick. Like it's front wheel drive. It's faster in a drag. Like it's all wheel drive, which I always thought was cool, but you could turn it off. Like, I mean, it can be cool.
you can even drive it in front wheel drive mode. I think
Yeah, fully
for
electric.
like up to a certain speed or something like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get there. I think the reason why Tesla did what they did was the only way they could get a company like that off the ground was to do things the way they did it. And I think, not that it's for everybody, but you are seeing some manufacturers starting to put that kind of flavor back into stuff. I think the only thing in the Tesla realm that's doing that is the Cybertruck.
We got to remember he had to scale Tesla up to make it profitable and make it logistically make sense. So they're not gearing cards towards people like us that care about that stuff. Exactly. They need to sell
it out.
Exactly. You just got to pump them out to the people that are going to buy them that don't really care about all that stuff. They just want a nice car, a good car, does what they got to do, and now we're going in the direction of electric. So, and they're trying to sell that whole idea. My issue with the whole thing, honestly, is just the technologies and the battery technology. The whole aspect of it is they're kind of misleading us about it, and it's not really
From an environmental standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really efficient either. I mean, you don't get a lot of range out of these cars.
From like a lifestyle perspective.
Yeah, exactly. It changes your whole limitations on how you drive and the way you go about using your car. And
Mining of it,
the mining of it, that's the biggest thing that people don't even really consider. Is they say, oh well, it's it's more efficient for the environment, but like all that nickel, all that cobalt and lithium and everything else that goes into that has to get mined, and it's done in third world countries where there's no regulations. And what do we do with it when we got to get rid of it now? We haven't even really got to that point, because Tesla's only been like 10, 15 years now. And these cars they're reliable. Most of them stay on the road, but what happens, if everything was electric in another 10, 15 years when these cars start hitting, junkyards and scrap yards? Like, we got to have a whole industry to just
I think they're going to have to walk back.
Yeah, 100%.
So much of, and I think they've already started.
They've already started walking back. All the major brands have significantly cut back their, EV programs and stuff like that.
Volvo said 2030, no more combustion cars. They walked that back. Walked that back.
There's definitely some good, and I think the answer is kind of like a mix of everything. You're right. I think some people kind of have their nose up in the air and I think that they're doing such a great service for the world by driving an electric car, and I just don't think it's what they think it is. It's kind of more like the idea is like, at least by doing this, I'm like kind of projecting that we need to be a little more environmentally friendly. The thing that I do like about it more than probably anything is, you look at Rivian, you look at Lucid, you look at Tesla, and they're American cars that kind of have the cachet of a European car.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Even at like the upper levels, I mean, like the kind of cars that I think people who are into European cars would drive are really just probably the Corvette, probably the Viper, and like the Escalade. There's everything else. I don't think like the guy who's buying like an E63 or the guy who's buying, a 911 or, an X5M, they're not really into anything else. And even those cars for some reason don't deliver that same status, that same magic that a European car gives you. I don't know if it's the interior. I don't know if it's just a brand identity, but like Tesla and Lucid and even Rivian, it's kind of got that like status. Like it's kind of got that like European car glow. Mm-hmm. I think that's cool.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to making them streamline and luxurious, but also trying to make them, sustainably built and whatever. So but they're all kind of trying to adopt that whole universal like luxurious feel to them.
Yeah. So, Benz was a big partner in Tesla, and a lot of the interior bits are Benz, which I thought was pretty cool,
especially on the Model S. So all the electronics and the buttons and everything.
Yeah, you look at the buttons.
Everything was just lifted from Daimler, Benz, or whatever. Rivian's got I like what they're doing, and then
that little Lancia thing is pretty cool. They're making the R3X or whatever, or R3.
What's that?
It's like their 4-door Econo looking car, but it looks like a Lancia Delta.
Lancia's making a new car like that?
No, Rivian is. They're making like a small kind of rally looking car. It's really cool.
I don't even think I've seen it yet.
Is it with Lancia?
No, but it looks just like a Lancia.
Wow.
Yeah. I understand maybe by the way I said why you'd be confused, but it's pretty simple to figure out now. But
okay, wow, yeah.
Pretty cool. But yeah, sorry, keep going. The Rivian does a cool job. If you had to buy one electric car, you had to.
One electric car? I don't know. That's a tough question. Because I don't know. I'd probably go with like the Model 3. Just because it's simple, it's small, it's fast. It's kind of like a 3 Series in a way. But, I like the streamlined design of Tesla. I like how airy and kind of open they are.
Yeah, I've owned one. They're nice.
Yeah? Would you have a...
I had a 3 and a Y, but
okay.
I made the Y into like an off-road car. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So we lifted it up 2 inches. We put steel bumper on it, PIA headlights, roof rack. We did a bunch of cool stuff. I put Nito grappler tires on it, big beefy wheels. So it was fun. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to take it off-roading, but Elvis and I got to do some snow driving in that, and that was fun.
Nice.
But destroyed the battery. The extra weight, the lack
Like
of
damage
airbag,
it, or just killed the battery life?
yeah, like wrecked the battery life on it, the range. But yeah, I always see these memes where people are like, oh, dudes at Tesla car meets arguing over who has the best wrap. I think that's kind of to your point. It's like there's nothing really that you can do to these cars that
No individuality.
yeah.
Maybe in like 10 years, people will figure out how to hack into them and, tweak the voltages and stuff like that and tune these things crazy. But there's not that, there's not a lot there that you can do with them that like translates to our passion.
Yeah.
Internal
There's no
combustion
provenance
cars.
either, or like there's nothing
Right.
there's nothing in it. Like, you look at there's a car that sits down the street all the time, a CRV with Mugen parts on it. And like, you can look at that and say like, this comes from something, or Spoon stuff from back in the day, or Forgiato wheels, like
Even like a GT3 Touring, there's no like, oh, he's got that one. It's just like, I ordered it. It's here. I got the size medium. I got the fast one. It's done.
yeah, there's no other way of saying it. It's
Just
just
black and white interior. It's just like anyone can have anything.
yeah, that's the thing about a Porsche, right? Like, when we order a bumper, we have to make sure it's the correct bumper. You order a Tesla bumper, it's the right one. But you get even a Panamera, there's 10 different bumpers.
They're kind of breaking that mold a little bit with the Cybertruck, though, don't you think? Like, when you see one, you're like, oh shit.
I mean, it's different.
But for now, you could still only get it with no color, black interior. Yeah, it's like crazy, but I still think it's going to lack its individuality.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why almost everyone that I've seen so far has had something done to it. Whether
Right.
they wrapped it, polished
wheels.
it. I've been seeing a bunch of
You've
them.
seen the polished ones?
I've seen I've only seen one in person polished on
They look crazy.
on the highway. Yeah, crazy. It's got to be dangerous.
I was gonna say, it might
the
not even-
reflection.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
crazy.
But they look sick. But almost everyone I've seen had something done to it. Whether they had wheels on it already, or wrap, or because otherwise it's just a giant wedge.
Yeah.
But
I think it's cool. I think you called it when it first came out. You said, I think this is going to be the rapper car. This is the car that you pull up to at the club in, and you were right on the money.
I think the thing that makes it that is it's just like so new. The one thing that I actually do love, the only electric car that I'm like, I fucking love this thing, it's sick, is the Hummer.
yes,
I think that's
you got
fucking
one outside.
badass.
The thing is, it's badass.
I don't like that color. I hope the guy
Really?
who has it doesn't hear it. And the other guy who was in here right before you, he walked downstairs and I was, he wanted another EV, and I, told him about the car, and he was like, I love this color. I was like, it's definitely not what I would get. Like, I think ASAP Rocky has one, and everything is yellow.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen a picture.
I thought that was sick, kind of like an homage to like the old H2s, or like, obviously I like, it's easy, like everything all black. I love, but yeah, it's like rugged, it's badass, it's cool. Like, that's the only thing I can look at. I'm like, that's got some flavor, that's got some personality to it. Even the Taycan, which I do like, it's just a little,
Boring.
vanilla.
The only one I would get is the wagon. I think the car's sick. The
Which-
Sport
yeah.
Turismo.
Oh yeah,
That thing is
really
sick.
nice.
Yeah.
I've seen one in green. That color is insane.
Well, that's the thing. At least you can get a Taycan in PTS colors. There was one that was on Instagram that was Ruby Star Red, and who doesn't love that? And
I don't like it. I don't really like Ruby Star Red.
Really, I love it.
It's just, I feel like it's like loud for the sake of loud.
I guess. Are you a Porsche guy?
A little bit. I really like Porsches, but obviously you guys are body shop guys, so you know all the paint codes and colors and stuff like that. I'm not that nerd into the paints on those cars, but I like Porsches. I would definitely love to have one day soon. I don't know what, but
What do you nerd out on most, car wise?
like I said, probably a little bit of everything. I just like when I find something new, like when I find a car that I see or whatever, I just like research them, just look them up, and then whatever it is, anything that just crosses my mind, I'm like, oh, what is that? Look it up, and then just try to learn as much as I can about it, and then before you know it, you're in a rabbit hole about 6 cars deep, researching everything. Yeah, exactly. So,
Do you have a next like stepping stone where you're like, this I would like this to be my next car?
next car, I really want an S-Class coupe.
Really?
I really feel like they're a slept-on car, Like, obviously they discontinued them because I guess they didn't sell that well. But I've always liked the way they look as like a very classy executive type of car. They've come down a lot in price, so they're reasonably affordable now. And I've driven a few of them. In my eyes, that car is, I mean, maybe not in terms of like status, but it's like a Rolls Royce. It's like a Dawn or a what's the two-door Rolls? Is it
Dawn.
The Dawn,
Or-
right?
no,
Wraith is the
sorry.
coupe. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of in the same caliber as that car, really, in terms of tech and ability and luxury and quality, but a lot cheaper. And honestly, I think it's sleeker, more sporty looking. So I really like.
Is
those
there a
cars.
way you would spec it?
I'd probably just get like a S63. Probably get like an earlier one, like a 15 to 17, maybe. Do the updated grille on it with the slats and just black out the trim and a nice set of wheels.
Exterior color would be black.
I'm not even particular about colors. I used to be like very simple with like paint colors. I always wanted either white or black cars. And then, I mean, now I really don't care. Personally, the next car I get, if I don't wrap it, I want something that's like,
Out there.
A different color, a little bit of vibrancy to it. I don't even really, I'm not particular about colors. As long as it looks good on the particular car, I could really care less what the color is. Every car, depending on the car, every car looks good in different colors,
100%.
Yeah.
There's certain colors that I would say I wouldn't really want a car in that color, but then you see it, especially like a 911. 911s look good in almost any color, really. But, certain
Things
cars,
you see and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're like, this just changed everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like my dad, one of his famous lines, whatever it is like, I'm not a blank color guy, but that car looks like, he says all the time, I'm not a yellow guy, but when we were driving ones and a 996 4S drove by in that speed yellow, and he was like,
The Transporter.
that shit is fire.
Yeah. Pretty cool about that car, actually. We actually just had two customers in the shop that had them. The 65, the V12 bi-turbo, outside of being an absolute fucking bruiser,
it's insane.
they made 125 with that engine, whether it be coupe, I think cumulatively between coupes and convertibles. It's pretty rare.
Yeah,
And it's
I've
kinda
only
something
seen like one or two of them on the
Yeah,
road.
you drive by it, and I guess you wouldn't give it a second look, but it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, I don't know. Something about that car is really cool. Like, I was never a Benz guy. I kind of just thought they were kind of like a soccer mom car or like an older gentleman's car.
Yeah.
And then I went to some training at Benz, and we watched some videos about like the history of the cars. And I kind of saw them from a different light as like, yeah, they have a storied history with like innovation and safety and motorsports, but like they're kind of just like it's like a niche thing. Not everyone's into them. Not everyone knows about the stuff that they do, and they're like muscle cars. Like
Yeah, it's a German muscle car.
the AMG sound. I can hear that's like one of the few cars that I can really recognize, like that deep throaty like sound that they make out of any other
throaty,
car. I find that cool. Yep, deep throaty. Yep, go fuck yourself. Yeah, and I just think it kind of has this like cool like flair. Like the people that I see coming in and driving them, one guy that we had in, he's like a world-renowned interior designer, and that's what he's driving. Like, he's a really cool guy. The way he dresses is so cool. And, again, like I saw that car and I was like, not really giving it a second look. And then like kind of looking at the way he had it spec'd out and set up, I'm like, this thing's sick. So it's
what
definitely
really
a cool car.
What really got me interested in that car when the S Coupe came out in, was it 2015? I think. My dad, when I was growing up, my dad had a CL 500.
Sick car.
Yeah, those were crazy car.
Is that the pillarless?
Pillarless coupe.
I love that.
Beautiful car. Honestly, probably one of the most beautiful cars ever made. It drove amazing. Like that car, I learned, he had it when I was just getting my license. He had just gotten rid of it, so I actually learned to drive in that car. And he used to tell me before I had started driving about how nice this car.
What was it again? It was a CL what?
CL 500.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't an AMG, but
Yeah.
you don't even
at
need
the time. Still, people
Yeah.
forget like, whatever, like 2000. A Benz was like, holy shit.
And the CL was the S Coupe of that
Right.
time. It was the top of the line car. I think that car had a sticker on it of $99,000. So it was a 2002. He bought it a couple years old for 20 grand.
Wow.
He bought it 5 years old with I think it was like 30,000 miles on it for 20 grand. Back then, you can't. Depreciation like that doesn't happen anymore. But back then, you could do that. And that car just, it sounded great. It drove fantastic. Have you ever been in like an older Benz with the ABC suspension?
I've been in the older Benzes, but I don't know much about the ABC suspension.
I mean, they are nightmares, I hear, to work on because it's a hydraulic suspension. So it's got tons of hydraulic lines and everything like that. And it was their first hydraulic suspension. I think it was one of the first hydraulic suspensions put into like a mass-produced car. So it had a lot of like quirky issues between leaks and pumps going bad and stuff like that. But it made the car drive like just unbelievable. Like this was, I don't know what they weighed, 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, but take it into a turn. The car was like literally straight. Like,
did it have those seats that would move?
Yeah, it had the dynamic
That's
seats,
crazy, right?
Massage. 2002 with ventilated seats.
Yeah.
Navigation, not that good, but I mean, Bose sound system. It was a nice car, and it held up too. Like he put almost 100,000 miles on that car, and aside from the suspension having like tons of issues, he had an extended warranty on that car. He paid like $2,000 or $3,000 for extended warranty. When he sold the car, it paid out like $25,000.
Wow.
Over the course of his ownership.
Not bad.
Yeah, so that car was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually funny. Like, so right then was like, I remember we went out to dinner once with some family friends, and in the beginning of the night, like, I was into cars like a little bit. I was probably like 10 or 12. It was 2002 probably. Mm-hmm. And when I thought about cars and like fast cars, like in my brain, it was like a fast car was like a Ferrari or something that looked like so sporty. Mm-hmm. Remember, we went out to dinner with these family friends in the city, and the first thing that blew my mind was they pulled up in an X5. I don't remember if it was a 3.8 or a 3.6 at the time. It was like the top of the line engine, but that's like, this car's a rocket ship. And I'm like, this car's a truck. And he's like, no, this is like fast as shit. Mm-hmm. Like they have this crazy fucking engine in it and this and that. And I was like, oh wow, like I didn't realize like they would do that in like a pedestrian car. And then later on that night, we were on like whatever, some corner, some kid pulled up to a stop sign. He was driving a crazy green, same gen CL55, I guess at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. Like, and I think he had, matching green wheels. And I was like, holy fucking shit. But I was like, that's another rocket ship. And I'm like, that looks like, like a grandpa car, like at first glance. And I was just like, whoa, like this thing is nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of if you know kind of cars, which I think the industry calls sleepers, right? Like now people know, but you've talked about the older Jeep SRT 8s.
Yeah.
Like that.
What, the first gen?
Yeah, just stuff like that, like the Typhoon and the Cyclone.
SRT10 Viper, like,
or the SRT10 Ram.
Yeah, right.
The V10.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, like the two-door stick shift, like that's
that stuff to me is really cool. Now it's not like that. Like now, if you have a G-Wagon and it's a 550, you might as well have a 3 Series, But every soccer mom, they don't have a GL 500 anymore. They want a 63. There's badges everywhere and there's large flares. But like if you go now, obviously an M5 when it pulls up. But like the 2 gens before, or I guess now 3 gens before, the last, I think it was a V10.
The E60, yeah.
That car was very understated. Mm-hmm. Or even the one before that.
Well, it was hated on when it came out.
Right.
Which one? The E60?
The E60, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because that came out a little bit after the 7 Series, like the early 2007 series. I can't remember the German designer's name who designed them, but it got a lot of shit in the beginning because it was such a diversion away from their design language that they had been following, and it didn't really like do well in the beginning. But now I think the E60 aged beautifully. I think it's really good looking car.
It's a maintenance nightmare.
Yeah. What's the issue? Is like those throttle body issues? Is that what it was with those cars?
Throttle bodies, the pumps for the SMG transmission.
Yeah.
Rod bearings. A lot of BMWs have the rod bearing problems.
I feel like every time you hear about a BMW problem, you think, what's it called, Vanos?
I think they have a Vanos problem too. I don't know. They got a lot of known problems, but I think at this point in time, there's so much knowledge and information out there about them that it's not really a problem anymore because people know how to work on them. People know what goes wrong with them. It's pretty consistent, and that goes for a lot of enthusiast types of cars that are getting older now because now with the internet and everything, there's like the knowledge is shared now. So people
you're gonna know what the problems are,
and they're not as scared too. Like I'm a big 911 guy, and the entry level 911, if you could even call it that anymore, because they're getting up there, is the 996, which very similar to what you were just saying. And Piggy Lau was the gentleman who designed. I think he was a Filipino gentleman who designed that car. People hated it because it went against exactly how you said it, the design language they were going for. It was the first time that they had taken out those circular headlights and put in those ones that were shaped after a winning Porsche race car, and that car has the IMS and RMS issue that everybody talks about in bore scoring. So, but people now, they're less afraid of things like that. I think that's really cool too. I do feel like, as even though people are going towards weirder things like electric and more modern cars, because there's such a high turnover rate of videos of how to fix things on YouTube and Instagram and things like that, people are going more towards the older enthusiast stuff because you can do 100%. Stuff on your own.
Yeah.
That was what Larry was telling us when he sat here. Larry from NYC.
Love that guy.
He was he's amazing. When he first started, he was with a company that was doing other content, and people like Matt Fair were making stuff that was sensational, and he was making his detail videos. And what he noticed was people would watch Matt Fair's video, but then when the next car would come out, nobody cared about the 2005 because it was 2010. But with his stuff, it was evergreen because people kept going back to it. And just kind of to the point, it's I really love the direction that car culture is going in right now. I think it's becoming more inclusive.
It is. And more people who are not really car people are getting into it now. I see a lot more people, like, you know, they may not know much about it. They may not like have a lot of knowledge, but they see an interesting car. They appreciate whatever it is about it that makes it unique and special. And, you know, it draws them in to get some interest about it and learn about it, and, you know, and sparks a whole new hobby for them.
What would be, sorry.
No, you're good.
What would be your dream 3-car garage, unlimited budget, daily driver, weekend car, and grail car that you could drive, but you probably wouldn't want to because it's so beautiful?
Grail car, 100% Lamborghini Diablo. That's
Color?
any color that I can get at a reasonable price. I don't even care. Those cars, I think those are going to be multi-million-dollar cars in a few years.
I'd agree.
It's a goal of mine, honestly, to buy one
before it pops.
Yeah, within maybe next 2 to 3 years, if I can, you know, leverage myself to, you know, find one, because I definitely think those are going to be, you know, maybe not like F40 type price range cars, but kind of, you know, I think they're going to pop off into that $1 million range one day.
I think for sure.
They're so unique. They're so just striking.
Everybody had that poster on their wall.
I had one.
Yeah. Was it purple?
No, but I mean, that's my favorite color. If I could get one in that SE30 purple color, even with a Jota kit, that'd be crazy. But that's even now $800 million car. So, but that's the Grail car. Daily driver, probably a 911, maybe like a C4S.
Nice.
Targa. I like the new. I mean,
Targa's amazing.
I love the Targas. The new Targas. I kind of like the way they made the Targa into the design a little bit better than the couple of past generations, like the 996, 997.
996 and
it was basically a sunroof. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably daily driver. And then would you say weekend car?
Yeah, just something to carve up the canyons.
Weekend car, probably be, probably like something old, manual, maybe roadstery. I don't want to say an E30. I love E30s, but probably something in that realm.
E30 is great. I have one.
Like I said,
that's a really good answer. That's a very different answer than what everyone's been giving.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, like I'm a car guy, but I have no like I'm not like a diehard. Oh, I love Hondas. I love Toyotas. You know, whatever. Like I don't. I love them all. Like every car is unique and different and has its own, you know, flair about it. And you know, in terms of that weekend car, I just want something that's got character, something that's like raw, like really completely raw. And you know, 70s to 90s cars really fit that key, whether it's a coupe or a roadster or something like that. Like they don't make cars that are that just bare bones anymore in terms of driving experience and the feel. So something in those. I don't really have anything specific. I can't lock on. I'm not, you know, devoted to any specific car, but something in that realm.
What can people expect when they pop on Instagram and type in Gearheadsnyc?
See some car content. I like to cover things that are going on when I have the time, different car events, other car groups in the city, meetups and whatever. Try to, you know, show some expose into other people's cars and stuff like that. So that's really what I've been doing now. What I want to do with the future of it is I want to kind of bring more of a community together. Biggest thing with the car scene is I want to kind of bring everything together. I want to bring, like, as you said, the car community is kind of growing a little bit and changing in a good direction. And I want to pivot off of that and kind of bring all the different subcultures of the car community.
JDM, American, trucks.
Like, there's some car meets where it's just JDM cars, or there's just, slammed guys, or, go out in Long Island as muscle car guys and old, classics and stuff like that. I want to kind of organize more events and stuff like that where we can kind of bring all that together.
That's awesome.
Because I go to some events, Long Island or wherever, and it's like, Manhasset, and it's just all like the exotic car guys with the Porsches and the Ferraris. And then, you can go to some other show and then it's like just the older guys with the classics and the muscle cars.
If you're going to go somewhere like pretty like regularly on a Sunday, is there like a place that's like, by you, like the car show, like Cars and Coffee Sunday? Like what's like the steady by you guys?
Nothing like right around me. I typically go out to either Oceanside on the South Shore of Long Island. They have a pretty decent Cars and Coffee there.
Where?
Oceanside train station.
Okay.
So it's the Long Island Railroad station over there. I can't remember the name of his shop. He has a coffee shop there, and he organizes that. So they get a nice turnout there of a mix of everything. And then a lot of the times I like to go to Manhasset, Northeast Drivers Club. Somebody from them organizes that. Great turnout there all the time. Ryan Friedman goes there.
He's there all the time.
Yeah, he goes to that one a lot. If there's one to pop out at that's like near the city, that's probably the best one.
Awesome.
I'm trying to do. I want to get more Cars and Coffees going on in the city. It's not a lot.
It's hard.
It's hard between space and just the logistics of making it happen.
The car club did a Manhattan Classic Car Club. Excuse me. Who good friends of ours. We've had some guests from there on. They did a good job. They're relocating, so it might change, but they had a great location. Hopefully they continue to do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to that. But that would be awesome just to see. You should get in contact with our buddy. Do you know Gabe, last name? Carey from Acceleromota. He runs a New York City-based Cars and Coffee. I'll put you in contact with him. He'd be a great person to network with.
I actually have a friend, too, who his name on Instagram is Urban Auto Enthusiast. He's,
I met him.
Yeah, Alex.
I can't remember his name, but
Alex Atala.
Okay.
Yeah, really, he's become a really close friend. He's a really cool dude, funny guy.
Yeah.
Really big car nut. And he was running some shows, or he set up a show in Queens. I don't know if you went to that. It was like Wee Bagel or something.
Yeah. I didn't go to that one, but yeah, they do
Where
that there.
Where in Queens is that?
I think that's in like Astoria or Long Island City area. Like somewhat like western Queens, like near the city, I think.
You're like the furthest outer edge of Queens, right?
Yeah, I'm on the border of Brooklyn, right between JFK and Brooklyn. So basically 10 minutes from Rockaway Beach.
Okay.
So
you want to, I think it's the perfect time for you to plug and promote your socials again. Tell people where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram, Gearheadsnyc. That's basically it.
That's awesome.
Check us out, reach out if you want to do anything.
When's your next event?
Nothing planned right now. Probably within.
Plan something right now. As soon as this camera goes off, we'll plan
a collab.
Within 2 to 3 weeks. I just been trying to plan something, but within the next 2 weeks or so, I'm gonna have the next thing lined up. I haven't done anything in about 2 months.
We'll collab on something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good.